to hop on today and talk about something that has been really on my mind lately. I've had a really great heart-to-heart with a yoga student of mine, and also I'm having some experiences of my own. So I thought I would go live and talk a little bit about this question. Is yoga actually making my injury worse, or is it making me hurt more? So have you ever experienced this? Maybe you have, where you go to even like a gentle yoga class and you come out and maybe your back hurts, or maybe your shoulders are like really stiff or really sore afterwards. And then maybe you've experienced that and then you felt like, yoga is too intense, I don't want to go anymore, I should just take it easy. And so maybe you quit going. So if you've had that experience, I want to speak a bit about that. First and foremost, no matter where you are in the world, where you're watching this, if you're ever experiencing pain before, during, or after yoga, please tell your teacher. I would say most yoga teachers want to hear from you. We want to give you alternatives. We want to know what's going on in your body so we can better inform you about what's happening and help you make good choices to help your body, right? So definitely keep that in mind. And sometimes I think it's easier, right, to just, I'll just stop going and just not worry about it. But that can actually be more harmful, and I'm going to tell you why. So what's happening when you experience that? So I'll give you a little example of my personal life. So something that I've been working through for the past, month or 2 months, I was noticing that my jaw was really, really tight, and that's not normal for me. And I noticed I was clenching, and my jaw was just like popping like crazy. And with that, I've always had a lot of tension in my hips, the glute and sacral area, and then right here, like I'm gonna call it the muffin top area. It's like I'm fine all day long, but when I really do a deep side stretch in yoga, it doesn't feel right. It feels like it won't really release and let go. It feels like it's still tight. And so what I decided, I was like, well, from what I know, the hips and the jaw are related. And so that was one piece. And I started looking into some somatic exercises and how to really bring breath and awareness into the hip and jaw connection and letting that go. And then I've started doing some very, very gentle, deep hip, not just hip, but like your iliacus muscle, my glutes. I'm really opening up those inner pieces of my pelvis and releasing the pain. What's happened is my jaw has gotten way better. My jaw is no longer popping. That feels great. My lower body, I'm feeling more and more pain and more intensity, and like I wake up and I'm more stiff. So I'm telling you this because I've experienced it personally, and I've had students come to me about this as well. This phenomenon is actually totally normal. Okay? It does not mean, in this instance, the pain does not mean to stop. It does not mean something bad's happening. It actually means healing is starting to take place. Okay? So if you've experienced this, if you know what I'm talking about, feel free to share your story in the comments, by the way. I see you guys hopping on. Hello. So what's happening when you go to even a very, very gentle class, a yoga class, or whatever kind of class, and you leave in more pain, or days afterwards you're in more pain? What's happening? I'm going to tell you 4 things that are happening. The first thing is your fascia. Your fascia is unwinding and rehydrating. You may wonder, what is fascia? Fascia is the deep tissue muscles around your muscles. So like when you're getting a massage, we're hitting like the tops of the muscles and stuff. That fascia is like deep down in there, close to the joints and ligaments, and fascia holds patterns. So especially over the course of a lifetime, if that fascia is tight, it can really cause a lot of damage. And so it holds that tightness. And so when you start moving things around and getting into the fascia, it starts to wake up. And what do you think? That fascia that's been holding tightly all these years, it's not going to be necessarily chipper and perky when you wake it up. It's going to have something to say. It takes time for that fascia to start to melt away and open up and soften, okay? The second thing that's happening is your nervous system. So our body, so I talked last week about the mind, body, soul connection. And why our body gets tense is typically we've experienced something in our life that made us tense up. So usually in childhood, but this at any point in your life, if you go through something that makes you go, you clench, right? When you're scared, when you don't feel safe, your body clenches. And it may be clenching in your shoulders or your hips or somewhere where, it's not automatically where you can see. That clenching, again, your fascia clamps on and it holds that pattern, but your nervous system too. Your nervous system holds on to that pattern, and it's very, very common to get stuck in that fight or flight response in your nervous system, especially after going through a big event. So one of the things we're teaching you in yoga is to activate the parasympathetic nervous system, the part of the nervous system that allows you to rest and digest. So again, when you've been in that active state for so long and you activate the parasympathetic, your body's going to have something to say. So think about it like this. If your body, you have not been listening to it, right? Or you haven't been actually giving it a voice, a outlet to express itself for however many years. And then maybe you come to your first yoga class, or you come to class after it's been a really long time, and all of a sudden you're giving your body a voice, because yoga is about listening to your body and honoring your body, and you give your body that chance. It's going to have something to say. It's like, telling me I can't talk for an hour. When you tell me, okay, you can talk again, I'm going to have a few things on my mind, so your body's the same way. Another example I'll give you. So some of you know I have an old building in downtown Frederick, and the back part of the building had not been sprayed for bugs in a while, and because no one has lived here in a while till I started living here this year. Well, my bug man came, and I was like, I really haven't seen any bugs at all, but I just want to spray to be sure. And he was like, great. He said, now what's going to happen? He said, you might wake them up. I'm like, what do you mean? And he said, well, they can be dormantly living in the walls, and as you spray, they're going to come out, and you're going to see actually more bugs for a few weeks. And I was like, what? He said, yeah, you're going to see a lot more action for 2 or 3 weeks because you're getting them out, but then it'll clear up. And so the same thing is true with our body. You might actually feel more pain the first few times you come to class, because you're opening things up, you're activating things, you're giving your body a voice, and then it'll take time for it to become better. So again, your joints, your stabilizing muscles. So personally in my classes, I talk a lot about micro muscles, the tiny, tiny muscles that actually keep us mobile and stable. Those to me are probably more important than the big muscles, the six-pack abs, right? Those micro muscles are what allow you to really stay limber and not injure yourself as you get older and fall. So those are waking up when we start moving again. And then the biggest piece, I don't say the biggest piece, another big, huge piece. If you've ever been in a yoga class and just had an emotional release, or you're laying in Shavasana and all of a sudden you feel like crying, this is very, very, very common, and I think something we don't talk about enough as yoga teachers. But your body holds on to emotions. Your physical body stores deep emotions. If you haven't processed deep emotions, your body will be holding on to them, and it holds on until you allow it to let go. And so when you're moving is medicine, right? And so you're even like gentle rocking. So in somatics, we do gentle rocking, really soft, very tiny movements. I have my students just gently move your knees. That can be incredibly emotional, either during the class or after the class, or even a couple days after, because again, you're waking everybody up. You're waking up all these inner body knowings that have been maybe dormant for a long time. So if you experience more pain after a class, know that it's normal. Know that it is completely okay. Again, think of like physical therapy. If you've ever been to physical therapy after an injury, it usually hurts pretty bad. They may have you, if you hurt your elbow, they may have you just gently like this and you're like, no. But that pain is a sign that healing is happening. It's not hurting you per se, it is healing you. So knowing that is normal is the one thing I want you to take away today. The other thing I want you to take away today is this is why aftercare. I've had numerous injuries in yoga. My wrist was a big problem a few years back, my knees. And as I started diving into this and learning more and getting certified, I really learned a lot about aftercare. So Epsom salt baths, Epsom salt baths, Epsom salt baths. That is my number one. I tell everyone, if you need, I don't care if you've had a hard day, I don't care if you're in pain, I don't care if you're just totally emotional, an Epsom salt bath will make you feel better 100%. It is magic. That is a natural detox. It's great for mind, body, energy, emotion. Please go take an Epsom salt bath after a strenuous workout or a yoga class. Hydration. I cannot tell my students to drink enough water. Drink water after a class because you're moving energy. You're moving a lot of energy through. Drink a lot of water. I always recommend eating protein to help rebuild the muscles and help the recovery process move quicker. Oh, hi from India. Hello, Angela. So glad you're here. What else? And then just come back to class. I think the tendency is to stop going, but actually if you continue going, you're going to foster that healing and allow your body to let go of those old harmful patterns quicker. So that would be my tips for that. Okay, that's all I have for today. That's my nutshell. I'm curious if you want to keep talking in the comments. Maybe you have had this experience. Maybe this is something you've had questions about. So I'm happy to answer any questions you have or any comments. And we're glad. Thank you guys for showing up live. It's nice to meet you guys here in the chat. And if you want to follow me, I am the Sparkling Hippie. Like and subscribe here on YouTube. You can also go to my website, thesparklinghippie.com, and check out what I have there for intuitive healing private sessions. Those are worldwide online. And yeah, I'd love to help you in any way that I can. Thanks guys so much. Have a beautiful day.